right, everybody, you have been so supportive and so wonderful with Shannon Confidential, all of my friends, all of my new friends. Thank you so much for watching me on my YouTube, on Facebook, on Apple Podcasts, through Podbean, on LinkedIn. It's been fantastic. If you could just look down that red word subscribe, it's free, doesn't cost a thing. If you could click it, I can make it. So click it so I can make it. Thank you, everybody. Hey, everybody. I am so excited to bring you this very, very interesting podcast today. Our special guest is Dr. Faye Mandell, and she is going to give us the methodology for living in the present moment, or even getting us to the present moment so then we can live in the present moment. Now, when I did my intro call with her, I have to tell you, when she was telling me she's going to use the hard sciences of quantum physics, and I even had to write this down, the psychology and conscious awareness to try to get us to live in the present moment, I thought, okay, what? And then she explained it to me. And that is when I said, okay, you need to come on Shannon Confidential and explain your methodology to all of the viewers out there, because it really does make sense. I'm going to let her talk about it, but it's about the past to the future to the present, and the terminology you use, the way it affects your psychology, time and space. It's really remarkable. Listen to her. She's incredibly knowledgeable. She's funny. I just can't wait for you guys all to meet her and hear what she has to say. So here she comes. All right, everybody, here she is, Dr. Faye Mandell. She is going to go into the methodology to living in the present moment, bringing and living in the present moment. It's absolutely incredible what her whole methodology, what she came up with. I can't wait for her to explain it, because it's not something I can do. I understand it, but I can't explain it. So Dr. Faye, take it away.
Okay. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is things that most people don't pay attention to. Last week, I was talking to somebody and he said, you know, Faye, we don't think about these kinds of things. We don't think about attention. We don't think about presence. We don't think about consciousness. We don't think about worry. We just live them as if they were an inextricable part of the way that we experience the world. And so we don't, and I spend all my time thinking about those things. So for me, it's a very different reality. So I'm going to ask you, for example, how much time in any given day, a percentage from 1 to 100, do you spend thinking?
Thinking, me? 100.
100, okay?
I can't stop.
Right, and most people assume that that's the way people were created, to be always thinking. But when you think, you move in time. Therefore, you're not in the present anymore, because thought is always about something. So you're always going to... There you go. You're always going to the past. And then from the past, you're projecting to the future. So that's why your life continues to be the same, in terms of repeating over and over and over again what you do. So the issue is, but nobody ever thinks about it. Nobody ever muses about it. No, nobody ever pays attention to where they're putting their attention. Okay?
It sounds so logical. This is what, when we did the intro call, I was like, yeah, that exactly that makes sense. But how do you say that? Well, you were saying quantum physics and the hard scientists, and I'm thinking,
right. So that's why I decided today to talk about the question of thought. Now, the other thing is, how much time do you spend worrying about the future? What if, always, should, those kinds.
Okay, to not sound too goofy, I don't always necessarily worry about the future as much as I'm a planner and I want to get it right, or I want to do something in the future. It's not always a worry, but I do spend a lot of time thinking about it.
Okay, good. So when you're in, well, no, good, but good. So when you're in the future, you're using, from the present, you're using the variables that you know about in the present. But when you go to that place, you might have had very different experiences, which is then going to allow you to look at that situation very differently. So instead of doing the same thing from the place of presence into the future, why wouldn't you not wait until you get there and then use the experience that you have to deal with what's so in that moment? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Okay, it makes sense, but I'll throw a question back at you. If I am thinking about something in the future that I may do or accomplish or a place I'm going, where does the cross line between you're thinking about it because you're planning, because you have to plan a little bit in the future, but not overly thinking it? Does that make sense?
Yes and no, because because a little bit is not a real term. Okay, you can't. It's like a little bit pregnant. You're either pregnant or you're not pregnant. Okay,
Okay.
so thinking in the future, you're thinking in the future. Okay, so all the question that I'm asking you is, why do you believe that planning is an important thing to do? Where did you learn that?
I don't know if I learned it as much as maybe my friends call me a perfectionist or OCD, and I just want to make the most of the time. So I just want to plan ahead and I guess not get there and be like, oh, shoulda, woulda, coulda, shoulda, which is terms you refer to.
That's
So I guess I'm answering my own question. I guess I am worrying to some degree.
Yes. Good awareness. You just got a great insight. Okay.
Hey.
Absolutely. So what your shoulda, coulda, woulda is the opposite on the timeline. You're in the present moment, or you can go to the right, you can go to the future, or you can go to the left, you can go to the past. We'll talk about the space line in a moment. But
And you guys, I've linked you up to the video where she actually shows this, the graphic, the whole video. You'll see the whole link to it. It's really remarkable how she physically shows you this. So sorry, go ahead.
No, that's perfect. That's just perfect. So when you worry, you go to the future, and therefore you miss what the universe wants you to have in the present, because you only put your attention in, you can put your attention on the future, or you put it in the present. If you put it on the future, you miss the present, and the future hasn't happened yet. So why would you go there and
I just got goosebumps.
Right, and miss what the universe wants you to have in the moment? And that moment then creates the next moment. And that moment then creates the next moment. So, so I'm just asking you to begin to get an awareness of having a choice of whether to go to the future or to stay in the present. Most people don't even know they have a choice. They just automatically go there because they have all the justifications. I want to be right. I want to be perfect. I want to get, so that everybody's happy. All of the justifications don't allow you to ask the question, do I really want to go there?
I have to tell you, I've always thought, okay, I got to think about what we're doing. I got to think about where we're going. I have to, honest to God, I've never said to myself, do you really even have to ask? I've never asked myself that question, ever.
That's what I'm saying. And what I'm saying is most people don't know what questions to ask. It's not that they don't want to ask them. It's not that like you get a profound insight like you just got, that you never asked yourself that question before, but it's that nobody teaches you to ask those kinds of questions, to pay attention to awareness and consciousness. One of the biggest gifts that it's not one of the biggest, it's the biggest, okay? And it's called attention. We can choose where to put our attention. No other species can do that. Like I have a cat, okay? And at 2:30 in the morning, the cat begins to meow. And I say to Bo, if you continue to meow, I'm going to put you in the bathroom. And because I need to get my sleep. And I know that Bo doesn't like the bathroom, okay? So I said to him, you got it? Okay, no more meowing. I go back into bed, I turn the light off. What does he do? He meows. Not that he wants to meow, but he has no option to meow, not to meow. So we have an option. Our greatest gift is the force. Like in the Star Wars, they had this, that one. Our force is our attention. We can choose. And I look at it like these little pixels, and I grab my arms all around the pixels and I say, I am going to choose. I'm not going to let my pixels go when somebody yells at me and I'm go into reaction, or when somebody says something mean and I then feel self-doubt or something like. I'm not going to put my attention there. I can choose where to put my attention. And I'm going to, what?
I like that.
Yes, well, it's the truth. We have a wonderful gift that we don't use, that we don't even know we have the capacity to use. And it's free. It's on our DNA. It's pretty amazing. And so if we choose, I'm going to put this amount of pixels on this problem for this period of time, then we are in control of how we participate in our life rather than being pulled by all of these things. I had somebody just say that they had to reschedule an appointment with me for Monday because they were just so busy. And I said to myself, he didn't choose. He loves our appointments. He never would choose, but he felt compelled to put his pixels out into the world and not put his pixels inside making a choice.
I just feel like I'm in the moment listening to you. I'm not even thinking of a question. I'm just listening.
Right. That's fine, because that's what I wanted to share. I really wanted to share that. So the next question I'm going to ask you is, do you ever get angry?
Me?
Ooh.
I'm an Irish Italian. Yeah.
Okay. So do you know that anger is a combination of a feeling and a thought?
A feeling and a thought? Okay.
When we get angry, we usually totally focus our attention on the thought. That idiot, he cut me off. Or, they were supposed to have it on Tuesday. I need it for Tuesday, and they're not going to have it for Thursday. And so we get angry and we think about the other people and the other things and what they did wrong. And we don't even know there's another component to anger called the feeling. Okay. And the feeling. Wow. Yeah, the feeling of anger is called frustration. Right? Frustration, when you don't pay attention to frustration, it piggybacks itself on a thought, and we focus on the thought and we get angry. It's outside of ourselves. But frustration is inside of ourselves, and it's you feel it in like your neck area and in your shoulders and that kind of thing. You feel that tension, so that's where the anger sits. When you put your attention, again, the force, on the frustration, the body makes a different choice. It doesn't focus on the person. It focuses on, how am I going to get it done?
Okay.
All of the energy that you spend yelling and screaming at the other person or the other situation, you can use to create resource to maybe get it done another way.
Wow. I have to tell you, to put anger, one side is a feeling and one side is a thought.
Yes.
I honestly, until this very moment, would have said, even if I was angry, are you angry that that person cut you off? Yes. I would have put frustration as the anger.
No.
In other words, I could say the words, I'm frustrated, that guy cut me off.
Okay.
But when in reality, it's the anger and the frustration is the thought.
No, the frustration is the feeling, the anger.
The feeling, and anger is, yes.
Perfect. So powerful. So the focus, the attention, when you're angry, is outside of yourself. And when it's real, when it's frustration, it's inside of yourself, because you feel the tension in your body, and it automatically allows you to make a different choice. So therefore, what I'm trying to tell you is, we did 2 out of 3, we're going to do 1 more, is that the worry is not real. Worry is a thought and a feeling. Anger is not real. It's a thought and a feeling. And sadness and guilt is sadness piggybacked onto a thought is guilt. So that you never have to have guilt again, anger again, or worry again, ever, if you understand that it's made up of 2 components. And we put our attention, our force, on the thought, and I want you to put it on the feeling. And you can do that. I'm going to do a little exercise with you, okay? So here's my phone and here's my mouse. You ready? I want you to put your attention on my mouse.
Okay.
Take it off the mouse and put it on the phone. Put it on the phone. Okay. Yeah. Good. Now take it off the phone, put it back on the mouse.
Okay.
Okay. Now take it off the mouse, put it back on me. Did you feel, even though I was directing you, that you had the capacity to choose where to put it? Where to put your attention? You put it first on the mouse,
No.
and on the phone, and then on the mouse, and then on the phone. You chose. So I could just say, pick two things in your office, put your attention on one, and then take it off and put it on the other. And the more you practice being in control of your attention, the more you'll take your attention off the thought and put it on the feeling. And then you'll never have worry, because that's only anxiety. You'll never have anger, because that's only frustration. And you'll never have guilt, because that's only sadness.
Wouldn't that be a perfect world?
I live that way 95% of the time. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to, after this podcast, you're going to go be able to do this, okay? But I'm saying if you can recognize that it is a possibility, that you really can live without those, that they are combinations of things which don't belong together. And if you could say, it's like chocolate syrup and milk. You mix them all together and it's chocolate milk, but you get milk at one part of the supermarket and you get chocolate syrup at the other part. They're two separate things, but when you look at the chocolate milk, it looks like one. So when you're looking at your thoughts, you believe that those thoughts are just that, thoughts, but there is a feeling component to them that most people have no idea about. And the reason why we create the thought is to discharge the feeling, because the way that you really deal with a feeling is to pay attention to it, like anxiety. Let's use anxiety for a minute.
I was going to say, let's use anxiety, because I know so many people that suffer terribly. And what you're saying is they could get rid of their anxiety with this method.
Totally. That there are more women on anti-anxiety drugs than any other drug in this country. Okay, but anxiety is just a feeling. It's information that says, now listen to what anxiety says. You're losing your focus. You're starting to go away from being focused internally, listening to your body. So it's the most important feeling we have. And it's not comfortable, because if it was comfortable, you wouldn't pay attention to it. And paying attention is the force. It's the force. So it has to be uncomfortable so you can pay attention to it. Once you pay attention to it, it jumpstarts the superior intelligence of the body, and the body shifts the attention from the thoughts to the senses. So you feel your tush on the seat, you feel your feet on the floor, you look out and you see the tree or whatever it is, and you're back in the present moment. The body knows how to do that. Just know
our brain is fantastic.
No, our body is fantastic. Body is fantastic. It's the brain that's the problem, because the brain, thought is the language of the brain, and thought always takes us out of the present moment. Feelings are the language of the body, and the body was built so that we could survive and propagate and function at our maximum capacity. That's why we have the body we have. That's why a giraffe has a long neck, because it can take the leaves off. That's why a cat meows, because they are all made to be the best they're capable of being. And we are too, but we don't listen, because we're always here. We're never here. We're never in the present listening. We're always here thinking. And once we're thinking, we're either in the future or we're in the past. That's the timeline. The space line is focused out or focused in. And when you're focused out, it's frustration going to anger, right? And when you're focused in, it's self-doubt. I'm not good enough. I'm too tall. I'm too short. I'm too fat. I'm too old. I'm too this. I'm too that. But it's constant. It's constant. Okay. So you have to know where you are in time and space, rather than what the thought is saying to you, because the thought is only saying something to discharge the feeling. The basis of the whole thing is that you can choose where to put your attention. You choose. You choose. You get up in the morning and you choose. You choose, I'm going to work out or I'm going to stay in bed. You choose, I'm going to have, pancakes or I'm going to have oatmeal. You choose. It's all up to you. And that's why the book is called Self-Powerment. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So can you feel now that there is a possibility to live in a different way than you've been living all these years?
Absolutely. It's going to take time to get that, like a muscle memory, to learn to process it that way until it comes naturally.
Well said.
but I get it. I get it. So you were saying that there's so many, and I just want to just break it down even simpler, just to hear you say. You said so many women, we're using them as an example, are on anti-anxiety medicine, and so if put someone through, they're having that beginning stages of an anxiety attack, or they're just having anxiety because they're about to do something.
Okay.
Tell what's the next step?
Okay. Anxiety is experienced in the body like butterflies in your stomach. Okay, the butterflies in your stomach, and your hands start to sweat, your heart starts to beat a little fast. That's the anxiety. So people pop a pill right away so they don't feel that. Okay, but the reality is you have to pay attention to it because it jumpstarts the superior intelligence of the body. I'm going to give you one physics principle. It's very simple. You don't need to know physics to know this principle. All bodies in motion stay in motion. All bodies at rest stay at rest until a force is exerted on them. Okay, then they change. Okay, is that simple? We got that? So the body is in motion. It's starting to feel anxious until you exert the force of attention. Then it jumpstarts the superior intelligence of the body, and the body shifts from worrying about what's going to happen to the senses in your body. You start to feel your tush on the seat again, your feet on the floor again, and you're back in the present moment, and the anxiety is gone. Gone. No pill. No.
And that's by acknowledging.
Of course.
You're paying attention to it because your body's telling you, pay attention to me.
Exactly.
But paying attention means come back.
Take your pixels and put them on the butterflies. So you say, how many butterflies are there? Are they flying around? What colors are they? And eventually you won't need the butterflies because it's just actually a feeling, but it's a symbolic representation to shift you from here to here. And once you shift into that place, then it jumpstarts the superior intelligence of the body. Like the body knows how to heal a cut. Tuesday you get a cut, you look on Saturday, the cut is gone. How does the body do that? Okay, how does it do that? How does it know to create stem cells that are going to be new skin? How does it do it to coagulate the blood so that it doesn't, continue to bleed all over the place? How does the body know how to do that? The body also knows how to recalibrate you into the present moment once you pay attention to the information that the body needs to know, which is that you're losing your focus. It's so simple.
It is so simple when you explain it. It's remarkable.
It's absolutely miraculous. And it's natural. It's a natural thing. If you watch little kids, okay? I took my granddaughter to the beach 2 weeks ago. She was never at the beach. And she loved it. She didn't think, oh my God, there's a shark that's going to come, or oh my God, there's a wave that's going to blow me over. Or she didn't have any thoughts whatsoever. All she was saying, this is a very big bathtub, And she was just loving the experience of putting her feet in the water and moving them. She didn't have the thought forms yet that took her out of the present moment into worry or into guilt or out into anger. And guess what? There's one more thing. Anger has 3 henchmen, okay? And they are judgments, comparisons, and negations. Do you know that you don't have to make a judgment ever again, and that almost every thought you have is a judgment?
Really? Yeah. Wow. That's a powerful statement.
Yeah, because the fact is, you look at this and you say, nah, I don't like that. And you look at this and say, yeah, this is good. And you look at this and say, yeah, I want that. But they're all judgments. Rather than just saying, this is what's so. Let's just experience it and see what we can create from it. That's the shift. That's where attention becomes powerful. Because it lets you create and lets you experience the truth. Buddha said that all suffering comes from a lack of knowing how reality operates. Because we're so here's reality over here, and then we judge it, we compare it, we worry about it, we feel guilty about it, we get angry about it, we self-doubt ourselves because of it. So it's so covered with all of this stuff that you can't see how reality works.
Yeah, in our intro call, you were saying society's toxic. They've taught guilt and judgment and all of that we didn't have to ever have.
Exactly. Why do you think everybody loves babies, whether they're cute or not cute or whatever? They love them because they're innocent and they just come from love. They come from joy. They come from experience. They're only unhappy when they need to be changed or they need to be hungry, and then they let you know. They cry. Okay. So there's a $3 billion self-parenting book industry. $3 billion on buying parenting books. Do you think that the lioness goes to Barnes and Noble? No. Okay? No. The lioness knows that she makes an invisible perimeter around her cubs, and as long as they stay in there, she knows that where she is, she will get back to save them. So, but let one of the little cubs stick their nose out of the perimeter, she stops what she's doing, picks up the cub, and throws it back in the center. Okay?
Sure.
There's no book for that, okay? There's no book to tell you how to be a mama, okay? You know how to be a mama. It's already on your DNA. You know how to be a dad. You know how to be a friend. You know how to be a daughter. You know how to be all these things. But we can't listen because we're over here and it's talking over here.
Because we're worried about being the best mom and dad, and we're not.
That's perfect. That's just perfect. You just got that. And so best is a comparison. Better than what? So it's a henchman for anger, okay? It's a henchman, and if you come back and feel frustrated because you don't know what to do, just make a different choice, close your eyes, get in touch with your intuition, and you'll know exactly what to do with your baby.
So just trust your own instincts. It's in here.
It's all in there. It's already in there, but we're not there. We are.
No, we're still outside worrying, thinking, judging, getting angry, like we're all over the place. No wonder why people are crazy.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why, because we're not in the present moment. In the present moment, the mind is quiet and you're listening to the information from your body, which all day is telling you what actions you need to take so that you can function at the best that you're capable of being. That's what your body wants you to do. Okay. So just listen to your body. It will tell you what to do. It will tell you, don't stay up and watch that extra half hour, go to sleep. It will tell you, don't eat that pizza, eat a salad. It will tell you, every once in a while it will say, okay, you were so good, I'm going to give you a break. You can have one of those, you know what I mean? So it has even a flexibility in it in a strange way. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not 0 1, it's not 100. It's flexible because sometimes you need a little sugar, and sometimes you need a little salt. But the point is that being present is the mind is quiet and you're listening to the information from your body. And the way that you do that is you look at your thoughts, but you don't listen to the content of the thought. You listen to where it takes you in time and space. Like what if takes you to the future. Shoulda, coulda, woulda takes you to the past. He, she, they takes you in the government and the business, or takes you to other people and things. And then you do go in for self-doubt, but it's only what's wrong with you. Okay, so you know how to focus in. You just have to expand it to moment by moment by moment by moment.
So if I am outside of me, going through something, and I want to bring myself back into me and get control, make that choice to control.
Yes.
What are the words? What are the cues to get me back there?
I got it. You ready?
Yeah.
Where am I?
Wow.
Where am I? Am I in the future? Am I in the past? Am I focused on see, nobody ever pays attention to that.
Those 3 words just stop time immediately.
Because that's the shift in attention, not to the content of the story that you're listening to, but where that story takes you in time and space. It's just a different focus of the force. It's just a different focus of the force. That's how simple it is.
Well, and they staying in the present moment and becoming one and all that stuff. I hear so much about meditation. Is that an added component or is that something so different?
Okay. Meditation is something that you have to stop doing in your life to do. So most people will rationalize, I don't have enough time, I'm too busy, I can only do it for 10 minutes in the morning. And then what happens when you finish your 10 minutes of meditation, you're right back into your head. Okay? This is a model that when you practice it, you can find out where you are in a nanosecond. You can shift your attention back to the feeling that created that thought. And then you could just put your attention on that and bingo, you'll be back to the present.
I have to tell you, I'm almost, and I hope this doesn't come out really weird. I'm almost hoping that a situation, not saying I want a bad situation or a good situation, just as a situation that causes me to come out of wherever I am at that moment. I come out of that moment because I want so badly to go, where am I? And I want to feel that straighten, that force, be like, I'm back here. Everything's fine.
Such an amazing experience to come back. It's almost like time travel in some strange way, because you're out there and
I have goosebumps.
And you have no idea how to get back, but now you know how to get back, which is to shift attention to the feeling that's in your body. And so if the feeling is in your body, where are you going to come to? You're going to come to your body and you're going to be in the present moment. That's it.
That's so beautiful, Dr. Faye. I love this.
And you know what's fascinating about it? When people get it, get that it's actually possible, and get that you can shift your attention to subjects like attention, to subjects like what is feelings? Why did the culture tell us that feelings are so bad? They tell us that feelings are impulsive and histrionic, and if you're a woman, premenstrual, and all this other stuff. But they also say don't make any decisions based on feelings, because if you base your decisions based on feelings, that's natural. That's real. That's how we participate with the universe. And the culture doesn't want us to be self-powered. It wants us to be enslaved and do what they tell us to do, not what our bodies tell us to do.
We just got to be better listeners.
Well, to our bodies, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And we have to recognize that we are all in the matrix. We're all in it. And then there's Neo and a few other people who are out here that I like to put myself out there. Okay. But there are so few of us. We really need to get people aware that they don't have to suffer. They really do not have to suffer. This life is to be lived and enjoyed. It's precious. Do you know that there are 8 billion sperms, and that one sperm managed to hit that one egg while your parents were doing what they were doing at that moment in time? And so you won the lottery. 1 out of 8 billion made you. How could you not feel how precious this is, this experience? If any one of those other sperms hit that egg, you wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. No one would be here. Some other people would be here. You see what I mean?
Absolutely.
So every day I wake up grateful for having a life, not what's in the life, but having a life. That's what I wake up to every day. I'm grateful that I have a life. Whether tough things happen or wonderful things happen, that's charges that we put on things. You know, we don't have to put charges on anything. Everything can be a gift. Everything.
I just love this. I cannot get, I'm like a sponge. Just tell me more, tell me more, tell me more. And for anybody that wants to get more, she has the books. I will link you. I'll let her explain a little about the books. She will come and speak to your group. She's accessible. I will link you up so you can find her. But tell us, you came up with this methodology. I know you've written about it. That it's gotten wonderful, incredible reviews. Explain that.
So I have a PhD in psychology. I have a master's in clinical psych and a PhD in counseling psych from Boston College. And so I started my professional life out doing traditional psychotherapy.
Okay.
It was good, but it wasn't like transformational kind of thing. So I was living in Cambridge, Massachusetts at the time. And in Cambridge, there's an unwritten informal law that you have to be going to school or learning something at all times, no matter how many letters or numbers you have after your name. So somebody will say, hello, what are you studying? Or hello, what course are you taking? It's just the way it is in Cambridge. So I went over to Cambridge Adult Education, and they had a book that was about this thick. And it was this thick, and I decided I'm not going to go through the whole thing. So I figured I'll just point my finger and I'll take meditation or, photography or something. Little did I know then that random is the order of the universe. Okay. So
Love it.
right, absolutely. So I put my finger down on a random course, and the name of the course was called Quantum Physics and the Face of God. I never have taken one physics course in my entire. I've been going to school a whole lot, not one physics course. Okay, so I had no idea what quantum physics was, and I'm not a particularly religious person, so I can't figure out why the universe would have let me take quantum physics on the face of God. And it was given by this incredible physicist named Fred Alan Wolf, who was in this movie called What's the Bleep? I don't know whether you've ever seen What's the Bleep, but
No.
it's a very good movie. It's on Gaia TV. If you get Gaia TV, you can watch What's the Bleep. Very important movie.
I'll link you up. Okay.
That would be wonderful. And then, so I take the course fully prepared to know nothing, fully prepared to, because I was still out there in the world. I didn't understand. And so I sat in the back with two friends. It was Friday night, Saturday and Sunday. It's Friday night in Cambridge, so you want to go out, but I'm sitting in this course with quantum physics. And so Fred Alan Wolf changed my life because he taught me about this equation that says E equals mc squared. Okay, so what is that equation? I had no clue. The letter E, the letter mc squared. I had no idea what that was. So it says energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. So if we could go 286,000 miles per second squared, this table would be white light. And I said, that's ridiculous. This is a solid table. I can bang it on. No. It's about the frequencies. It's about the resonances. It's about how things are vibrating. It's all energy, all of it. And it can coalesce into matter by vibrating small, or it can go light, or it can even go beyond the speed of light. We've already found out. So that said to me, well, if this table isn't real, what else isn't real? And then
That's a deep thought right there.
That started my search. And so I have all sorts of books here on quantum physics. There's a book called The Quantum Mind, and then there's Quantum Buddhism, and then there's the Quantum Self, and then there's the Quantum Leader, and it's all about the quantum world. And that world doesn't behave like this world, like our five senses. So you have the quantum field, which is infinite possibilities, and then they get funneled through the five senses, and then we get to see what we see because we're humans. Okay. But cats don't see the way we see, and whales don't see the way we see, and some animals don't even have eyes. I mean, so they all have different sonars and different things, and so we can access those if we leave our five senses and go to the quantum field. But you can't do anything. So that's what got me excited about the quantum world. And that's when I realized that I had to say goodbye to traditional psychotherapy. That I had to say that traditional psychotherapy, which talks about what happened to you in your past and gives you diagnoses like affective schizoid or paranoia or depression or anxiety, those are all made up concepts by people in the 17th and 18th century who were trying to figure out how to help people. They did their best, okay? But it doesn't work anymore. It's like the typewriter. When I was a little girl, okay, every house in America had a typewriter. We all had typewriters, when we were typing. And I remember took a class in typing, ASDFGF, and you could type. But now there's no typewriters. There's keypads. That's it, And all I'm saying is that, listen, there used to be phones that had dial-up things like this, and you could never talk to somebody. Never mind do a Zoom call like this. I mean, we have moved in our awareness about things, but traditional psychotherapy stays the same.
That's like shoelaces obvious, Wow.
Right? So I experience emotional well-being as a place. It's not a process, it's a place inside of yourself. And that's called the present moment. And the words the words in English to describe the present moment are I am. Am is a present tense verb that lets you know you're in the now, and I is a pronoun that lets you know your attention, your pixels are focused inside, listening to the information from your body. And I can go a whole day and not have a thought.
Incredible. I want to get there.
Yes, yes. Anybody can
I
get,
want to get there.
as long as you are human, okay, you can get there. Because that's how nature wanted humans to be. They wanted thought to be used for a very different function. They wanted thought to be used like Einstein used it for thought experiments and to imagine possibilities and to partner with nature and to find vaccines and to help kids not have polio and to help people not have MS. That's what God is all about. It's not Jesus Christ. They wouldn't bring the thing on Thursday. That's not what it is. And that's how everybody's walking around.
You must, I have to tell you, Dr. Faye, you must walk around on a daily basis like everybody's like got the, Cookie Monster eyes, like blah, 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 blah.
Well, because they don't know that they don't know. It's not that they're stupid. They're just ignorant in the Buddhist sense, in which nobody ever pointed them in this direction. Not the school, not their parents, not their work situation. Nobody has told them that this stuff is what you have to pay attention to, because that's where the force is.
I feel the force. I love it.
Don't you love it? Isn't
I want to go watch the movie now because I'm feeling it.
Right. And you just used the right word, feeling it. It's in your body. It's there all the time. And the worst possible situations that you think would be the worst possible situation that could ever, 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 ever happen, piece of cake. Piece of cake?
Like,
I'll give you a quick example, okay? So in 2016, I got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Okay. It didn't turn out to be pancreatic cancer, but for 2 weeks I thought that it was going to be pancreatic cancer. And so my clients all decided to stay with me. I told them I'd find them somebody else, or they trusted. And the question was, Faye, how did you feel when you heard that diagnosis? Right? I said, what's so? That's it. So what's so? So I got to find my living will, and I got to put my bucket list in order, and I got to do this, and I got to do that. Because if you know what's so, you don't have to put on judgments and worry and victim and guilt and anger. You just do what's so. And then my wonderful son said, we're getting a second opinion at Johns Hopkins, and we went up to Johns Hopkins, and they said, the great doctor said, it doesn't feel like pancreatic cancer to me. I won't know till I open you up, but it doesn't feel like that to me. He used the word feel. So the doctor using the word feel, he was
like, I like this guy.
I loved him too. I loved him. And it could be, he was adorable too. So that was good too. But he opened me up, and they found out that it was intestinal cancer, and that's very much easier, much less virulent, very much easier to deal with. And here I am 4 years later, I think in the best shape I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, so you're healthy and everything's okay.
Everything's okay. But the issue part is that when I found out, I took a 20 by 20 piece of paper and took a number 3 pencil and put a little dot in the middle of the paper, folded up the paper, put the paper in the carton, put the carton in the attic, put other cartons on top of that. And that's how much attention I gave mine.
There you have it.
That's it.
That
It's the truth.
I think that's fantastic. I am going to figure out what my process is to just always know where I am.
That's the question. The question is not anything else but where am I? And there's this wonderful app. It's called the Mindfulness Bell. And I think it's free, or $1 or something like that. And you set it to random during the day. And every like 30 minutes or 45 minutes, but random, goes off. And it's whatever it says on the app, you don't listen to, you say, where am I? So it starts to train you to focus on where are you. It's an amazing little app.
I'm going to get it.
Yeah, Mindfulness Bell.
I have to tell you, everybody listening, if you are just glued to your screens or listening so intently, like I am, I promise everything she said, everything Dr. Faye mentioned, I will make sure in the show notes with the post, you are linked up so you can find it, you can get to it easily. I just want to make sure you get the most out of everything she said today.
Mm-hmm. So in summary, okay, we don't have to live any place else but in the present moment. We have the methodology now to shift from the content of our thoughts to where it takes us in time and space. Once we know where we are in time and space, we know what feeling we have. There's only three we have to come back and pay attention to. Once we pay attention to it, jump starts the body and the body does the rest. That's how simple it is. The problem with the work is that it defies every belief system you've ever had in your life. You are a planner and you want things to be perfect and you want them to be, so that one has to go. Go, okay? And, all I'm saying is that it will go because it's not natural, because you're using data that is the same for something that's going to happen 2 months from now. And there's all sorts of things that can happen between now and 2 months from now that will make that event better or more special or different or entirely different. You know what I mean? So that's how you stay the same, because you use the same data, and then you go back and you remember that, and you use the same. It's like a little hamster that keeps going around and around and around. You never get anywhere because you're using the same data.
The simplicity of it is almost comical.
Almost comical. But the hard part is to give up the belief systems that you have a strong belief system that if you plan, it's going to be great. You have that, so you have to own that. That's an important part, and you have to start to examine that. Is that really true? Does it really make sense for me to use data that I don't even know about, that I don't even know what's going to happen 2 months from now, and miss what's happening now? Which where your attention is the reality you create. So if you're putting it on the future, you can't be in the present.
This makes me want to stay in the present. I just want to, like, moment by moment, just be everywhere I'm supposed to be. Because I don't want to, I feel like because I haven't been thinking this way for 50 years, I've missed so much.
Well, I
was already doing.
Right, but that is gone. We can't get that back, but we can start from right now. We can start right now, and we can pay attention on the feeling that lets us know that we're losing our focus. Anxiety says we're losing our focus. Frustration says we have to make a different choice. And sadness says we have to close the experience. It's over. Why go back there? Why go back? Some people say, well, I like to go back there. I said, cool. If you want to go back there, go ahead, but you missed the present. So I would be cautious about leaving the present, because that's where nature wants you. So why would you go any other place other than where nature wants you? It just doesn't make any sense.
Not when you put it that way, not at all.
It doesn't make any sense. So, so I feel like this is the next step towards the transformation of human consciousness. It's not the transformation. I mean, maybe there was something that comes after, but this is the next step that we have to take. It's to shift from the focus on the outside of us to focus on the inside of us, and we have the way to do it now. We have the way to do it now. So it's not that it's not doable. We just have to scale it. We have to get people to be interested in this kind of stuff. Because it's not that they don't, clearly before you knew me, you weren't interested in this kind of stuff in the same way that you are now. Okay, so now if we could get people to have that same level of excitement that you have, and passion that you have, and emotion that you have, then we're golden. We're really golden, and the world will be a better place for it.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So how are we doing on time? We're good. So just tell me if you have any final questions.
No, I am just so excited. I just cannot wait for this episode to come out tomorrow. I cannot wait for other people to hear it, because that like, if you could see a cartoon where the mind is like, it's mind blowing. That's listening to you. I just feel like the top of my head keeps coming off, and it's not mind blowing like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy, I don't even understand, I can't wrap my hands around it. It's mind blowing because you explain it so simply and so easily that it's blowing my mind, because I'm getting it and I understand it and I want to implement it. And it's just so exciting.
So exciting. It's so exciting not to have to suffer. I mean, I look around the world, and most of the people that, whether they have a lot of money or they don't have a lot of money, whether they're beautiful or whether they're not, whatever it is, they're suffering. They're not happy. And the root verb of the word happiness is to happen. When you're fully experiencing what is happening, you have achieved happiness. It is not this thing with the lambs and the pink bows and skipping through the fields. That's culturally created, because we can never have that. I mean, that's true. But we certainly can when we're fully in whatever it is that we're doing, including something as mundane as folding laundry. I mean, seriously, when you're fully folding the laundry, then you're fully folding the laundry. And that's state in the Buddhist tradition called non-duality. You are your experience. You are not out here in your experience and you're watching yourself do the experience. You are the experience. It's such a phenomenal way to be, because
it just seems so peaceful.
So peaceful.
I just feel like that would be so peaceful. You get rid of all the voices, all the chaos, all the noise, and you're just...
All the voices, they're just made up to discharge the feeling. And as simple as taking your force and paying attention to the feeling, all of the voices go away.
I just feel very relaxed now. I do. I'm just like excited, but like, hey.
It is a beautiful place to be. And I'm not telling people not to meditate, and I'm not telling them, listen, I do yoga 5 or 6 times a week. I do hot yoga, and I love it. And so, but it's not the way to live moment by moment by moment. The way to live moment by moment is to know where you are in time and space. Now, who'd have thought that to find peace and to find clarity and to find focus, that you'd have to know where you are in time and space? I mean, that's the furthest thing from anybody's, regular conceptual thinking that you could come up with. But the truth of the matter is, it shows a merger between physics and psychology that is so powerful, that you can't deny it.
You can't. No. And that was one of the things, looking forward to at least listening to you, is I had to figure out, or had to hear, how this was. What is this methodology? It just seems so odd that I had to hear you. But then once you explained it, it was not odd at all. It made all the sense in the world, and I was living it wrong.
Exactly. People have, that's so good what you just said, because you have to own that you were living it wrong. I had to own that I spent 7.5 years to get a PhD in a subject that is old, I had to own that. I had to let go of all of the work, the effort, all the stuff. And I had to say, okay, it's going to serve me because I'm an expert in that. I have a PhD, and I can say no. If I didn't have a PhD, they'd say, no, it's because you don't have a PhD. But I happen to have one, so I can say that it's no. Do you see what I mean? So
Yep.
That's how it served me. It didn't serve me in the content, of course. It served me in my ability to know what's so. Because if I didn't know that, I could never know this. So that's the key to the whole thing. Is and you just said it, that we are living with our attention on the wrong syllable. That's all. It's just the wrong syllable. We have to come back to syllable. That's what we have to do.
Once we close out, as soon as we say our goodbyes here, I cannot wait to sit down and put this episode together, because I just think this is a tremendous amount of people out there. And I know in my own circle that would, just hanging on to your every word, that I know this is going to change their lives.
Change their lives. No more anti-anxiety medicine. No more. Unnecessary. The very thing that they tell you to don't pay attention to. It's like the culture. If the culture tells you to do A, do Z. You'll be fine.
Yeah, don't listen.
Listen to this, right? Listen to this.
So everybody, if you feel the way I feel right now, I feel powered, I feel calm, but with excitement. There's a happiness, there's a lightness I feel about me now, because I just feel like there's a whole new way I'm going to look at life. I'm going to look at myself. I'm going to look at situations, and it's going to just be brighter and better. We're better, we're smart, we're wonderful, we are what we are, and that is a great feeling. And I'm just so excited to start implementing all of this.
Yes, it is absolutely, it is absolutely the way nature intended human beings to participate in this precious gift of life.
Yes, and I am so fortunate, Dr. Mandel, so fortunate that we got jumped on that call and we went through this together. And I just, yeah, it's a great podcast and that's all wonderful, but I just feel it's just, I'm better now. This hour, I feel I'm better, and that's huge.
That's very huge, very huge.
Thank you so much for the world, the universe giving us this moment that I stayed in. and we were able to, I just give this understanding. Thank you so, so much.
My absolute pleasure. Anytime.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, now it is time for Style Secrets, and I'm really excited about this one. Okay, so Luminess does an airbrush, your makeup airbrush, and I'm always trying to wear coverage. I love coverage, but I don't like that pasted, caked on feel. And the easiest way to not get that is by using an airbrush machine, because it goes on so light and so evenly. It's fantastic. You look flawless. And Luminess came out with a smaller one, which you see behind me, the handheld one that you can travel with. And it's just smaller. It's more compact. And so I ordered it, and I am absolutely fabulously in love with it. My friend Melissa, I will link you up. She's an awesome singer. Burnos, go for it. She's a rock star. She was telling me all about it. She was letting me know that, you can pick your colors, you can mix them. So there's color matching. So it gets right to your exact color. And she was spot on. All the blush colors are fabulous. The chrome lipstick I'm using, fantastic. It doesn't come off. Even all the talking, it doesn't come off. I absolutely love Luminess and the new compact travel Luminess. It's fantastic. I urge all of you to try it, especially if you want really nice coverage and real evenly. It does super light coverage, water-based. I love the rose formula, the rose water. It smells fantastic. And then you can go thicker coverage, and also you could, airbrush it on. And if you want a little bit more, you can do another layer. They go through all the instructions. It's fantastic. I love it. I recommend it. Have fun. All right, everybody, you have been so supportive and so wonderful with Shannon Confidential, all of my friends, all of my new friends. Thank you so much for watching me on my YouTube, on Facebook, on Apple Podcasts, through Podbean, on LinkedIn. It's been fantastic. If you could just look down that red word, subscribe, it's free, doesn't cost a thing. If you could click it, I can make it. So click it so I can make it. Thank you, everybody.